Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's a box, which means it's time for unboxing. Now this is an order that actually I've kind of like preempted on the channel. I did a video where I was doing one of the viral video commentaries on a video by Explosive Enterprises, which was about this, which is a conversion kit for the Thunder B airsoft grenade. Now it was actually someone who was watching one of my videos who said, hey, have you checked out these Brey Tac grenades? You need to check them out. And I searched them, found the Explosive Enterprises video, went and watched it, and then I was like, I need to buy one. So I bought one. It's just arrived. This has been sent from the Netherlands, and I think this is a really, really clever idea. Now, to give you the premise of what this is going to do, it's going to take one of these, which is the core for a Thunder B. It basically is a CO2 grenade that's usually used. And basically it's going to turn it into, it's going to have a core on it, which is going to turn this into something which will have a plunger to hit a 9mm blank. And that 9mm blank is going to be, instead of like time delayed from the gas of the CO2 popping that outer shell, it's going to be an impact grenade. So as soon as I throw this thing, it should hit a surface. A magnet will remove the magnet will get knocked, and therefore that spoon will release, and that spoon releasing will then have a striker that will hit a 9mm round. So I think it's a very, very clever idea. I saw from the video that Explosive Enterprises did that they really liked it. The issues that I do have is that I live in Southern California, and technically a 9mm blank is pyro. And a lot of the outdoor sites, there is such a big fire risk that they will not allow you to use pyrotechnics because it could start a fire. So I may not be able to use this that much, but when I saw it, I was like, right, I need to get one of these. So what I ended up doing was I ordered a few things from them, which actually they've also included the Thunder B in here, which I don't know if they've installed it already. If they have, that's kind of good, but I was going to install it on this video. So I ordered some bits and pieces. They've given me a nice patch, which also has a barcode on it. But this is the company, Brey Tac Airsoft. They haven't sponsored me. I've got no communication with them. I've just ordered from them. As I said, you have to order from the Netherlands. So it did take, I think, about 2 weeks for this grenade to arrive. In terms of cost, the actual core itself, or the blank kit, which isn't with the Thunder B core, that's about 59 euros. And then if you want it included with the actual Thunder B, which I've got another one here because I forgot that I ordered this with it, that is going to be 75 euros. So you're getting a airsoft grenade that is going to fire blanks for 75 euros, which I think is pretty good. And then obviously you're going to need to get blank ammunition. I'm going to grab one now quick. So this is the blank ammunition actually that was shown and recommended in the Explosive Enterprises video when I was watching it. So I ordered this specific one. It's the PAK blanks, which I think are a bit louder as far as I could work it out. This is really annoying, a box to open. I don't really want to rip it, but I don't see any other option. So let's rip it. But you can see here, these do look like 9mm rounds. However, there is no actual projectile or bullet at the end. It's just the casing. And basically, apparently that striker is going to hit this like it would in a normal firearm. And that is going to then basically allow this to fire. Now, have they installed this? No, so they haven't installed this. So they've just given me the core of the Thunder B with no kind of internal in it. Charlie, my dog, is over there eating a box. So if you hear that noise in the background, then that is what that is. So basically they've taken one of these Thunder Bs and it looks like they've just removed the parts you don't need, which is the actual like firing pin in there. So they've just left us with that piece, which is the kind of top normally where this spring plunger is going to be released when the hammer goes, and then this, which is the internal core. So I presume those are the pieces that we need. Now, my issue with Thunder Bs, they are great. The problem with the Thunder Bs, I've got a few of them. Number one, they can be inconsistent. When the O-rings go, or there's some issue with like the plunger, the striker hitting the top of the CO2 container capsule to release the CO2. Sometimes it doesn't hit it hard enough and it's just kind of like a leaking slow amount of CO2 comes out. Sometimes they go off really quickly depending on which shell you're using. Sometimes they just don't work. And I'm probably about 25% of the time when I throw a Thunder B, I'm expecting it won't go off. The other thing is the cost. So this core itself is $24. Each one of those shells that you're using is like $2 or $3, and then you're using a CO2 capsule, which is 12 gram, probably another $1. So it's working out like $4 or $5 a throw. This basically should mean that I am just doing it per blank, and I think these are going to be around 30 to 50 cents. So it should be very loud. It's going to have a similar effect. It's not going to shower anything anywhere, but it's going to be a similar effect, and it is going to then basically my outdoor field, it will have a 15-foot kill radius if I was allowed to use it. And at the indoor field, it's just a distraction device as a Thunder B would be. You have to be hit by something. So basically what's going to happen is this is going to sit internally in there, and then this is going to be attached to that magnet, and that's going to be held in place by the magnet. So when I release the actual pin, like I actually should just do this. I don't know why I'm not doing that. So that will be held in place by the magnet. This basically will have the pin in it as the usual usual Thunder B would. So here we go. Again, I don't know why I'm not just demonstrating this. I don't know exactly how to build it, so I might do a screen share just with you guys now to show you their website. So this is normally how you'd prime a Thunder B. I've just basically pushed that back. There's a spring holding it, so when I release this and then I drop the hammer, that is just going to go down and it's going to hit. So I probably should have shown you like that. If I have that, then when I throw it, it's going to pop, then it's going to go. With this system, it's going to be held in place after I release my hand by this magnet. So that magnet there, hopefully, and like already there's a slight issue here, which is that that's not holding in place. So I kind of need to, I think, bend this a bit more, this hammer, this spoon, sorry. So it holds in place when that's not there, but actually I'm going to bend this spoon slightly. We'll see if that helps. So what I need this to do is to hold in place. And then that needs to be attached to that magnet. So at the moment, it's actually pushing it too far away. So if I release that normally now, obviously that spoon would just flick up. What I need it to do is to hold it in place there. And I could be doing this wrong, so we'll work this out. I'm going to do the install and then we'll figure out if I need to kind of like alter this, but it seems like that needs to be sitting further down on that actual place there. So maybe if I bend this pin slightly this way. Where's my knife gone? Yeah, that's not holding it fully. So it's almost like that spring, I might need to just try and get some on there. Because if I threw that now and that released, that would just go off as soon as the pin came up, which I need to be careful about. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, again, quality on this is really good. Like, it's very solid metal. I think it's aluminium because it's pretty light. You can see here it's got like vent holes in the bottom. So that's where that loud bang is going to come out, and also like the heat. So I should be careful that my hand's not on the bottom if it goes off in my hand, because that's where it's going to hurt. I also got a blank kit holder from them, which is going to just hold blanks. And actually this is like a little... Oh, okay, so it's like a clip. So this basically is a something I can attach to Molly right here, and then I can put it in, and then I can have it as like basically a grenade pouch, but it's 3D printed. So I'll have that in there. I don't think I'll use this. I'll probably use one of my normal grenade pouches, but I think it was cheap. It was 15 euros. So I was like, okay, I'll get one and test it out. So that's good that it's there, but I think probably I'll be, Charlie, probably I'll be using my other one. This is what I think the blank is going to go into. So, sorry, I actually bought a couple of extra things. So let's just go through what I bought. A cartridge is adapted to 8mm. So that means that I can adapt this over to an 8mm shell if I want to. And then I also got, so that's the 8mm adapter there. And then this, I think, is just the standard part that's going to need to go in there. This is a replacement part kit. So I also got a replacement part kit in case something goes wrong. So that is there. This is here. So what I think I'm going to need to do is basically install these parts into this, is what we're going to end up doing. So what I might do quickly is watch the video where they actually show us, see how it works. Let's see if we can find the video on how to build it, because that's probably what we're going to need. About us. I'll share the screen with you guys so you can see. Okay, so here's what I'm looking at. It says order now, see how it works. Here's the products right here. So you can see this is the core by itself, 59 euros. This is like what I've got, which is that piece. I got the spare parts. I got the adapter for 8mm, and then a cartridge holder you can also get, which I don't think I've got. This is going to be where this 9mm is going to sit in, I think. So that looks like that's the location of where, oh, I'll show you here. That's where that 9mm is going to sit, right in here. So I'm just going to drop that into here. And that's going to go in there. Where is their video on how to build this? Okay, blank kit for Thunder B. Blog, what do you think there? Dominate the field, introduction to the Thunder B grenade. About us, products. Blank kit V2. And maybe I'll Google it. I feel like they should have this on their website though, and I'm probably missing it somehow. See how it works. Let's just see if I'm... So that's how it's gonna work. Okay, that didn't help me that much though, did it? In-depth review. Okay, this is going to show me it. I'm going to turn off the sound because we don't need that. Right, so I've got this. Let's put this on big screen. Okay, so this is not in English. So I presume this might be in Dutch if it's from the Netherlands. Okay, right, so this guy is chatting. Okay, right, so we've got this. Ta-da! Taking a Thunder B, which they've already given us the core for, which is good. We don't need that core. Okay, he's talking about this. We don't need to know about that. Yeah. Talking about the downsides of Thunder Bs. Right, so it's showing us a Thunder B. Okay, so it looks like if I take this piece off here, I have what he is showing us right there. I think it would help if I heard him, but also it probably doesn't because Okay, he's again showing us how Thunder B works. He's now showing us the outside piece, doing some slow-mo. Now, right, so we got rid of that. We have this piece here, which is without that. He's put that back on, great. So does he want us to keep that piece? Okay, so we got that, and now we've got this guy. And this is going to be where I'm going to thread this in. Okay, he wants us to prime the top. That's easy. Done this hundreds of times. I'm not going to set this off at the end of the video, guys, just because I'm in my house right now. I am going to try and play with them tomorrow, so that should be where I can do that. Okay, hold on. So he is, let's go back a second. He has done this. Okay, he's threaded this guy in. This guy is going in here. Okay, so, all right, hold on. I can't do that. Okay, I have to hold it here. I kind of want to show you guys what I'm doing, so I'm going to pause this quickly, and I'm just going to go back to the normal camera. Let's go back to here. Okay, so it looks like what I'm trying to do is basically put this piece into the top here, and then screw this from the top. So I'm going to drop this guy in here. Is that right? No, I'm going to put this guy here. Aha, so he is right. I need to open this up first, put this guy in. I'm then going to basically just hold that there. This is going to sit right there. And while I hold this, this guy's going to sit there. Okay, so is that right? That doesn't look right. I can drop that top bit in, but that's not sitting far enough forward. So it must be, aha, I'm putting it in the wrong way. That's why. So I put the actual grub screw with the firing pin on it. I put that into the thin end when I need to put that into the thick end. So that was really dumb. I think that is going to be variable, the height of that, and I'm going to have to test it and see what height I want to put it at, which is kind of annoying. Because it's going to mean that I have to basically set this thing off quite a few times and make sure it's working okay. And then okay, so I think I just want to kind of look at it where his is, kind of get it lined up with that. So if you look here, I've now got that screw in the top, and then I've basically got that piece in the bottom, which means that when this is up and on top of the blank, that's going to be sitting up there. That also moves, so that's just going to sit right there. And then what I'm going to do is when I remove it, it's going to sit down and fire. So I think let's maybe stick with that for now. Tighten it in a little bit more. And we'll see if that works, okay? And then we'll continue with what he is saying. I'll go back to show you guys, right? So now he's saying, got this in place. Got this in here. We're going to put this guy back on. And then we're going to just basically stick this thing on top. Okay, so I see. So we have to make sure that this is aligned. Okay, so my issue right here is, look at this. This isn't sticking to that point. It's almost like the magnet's not quite strong enough to fight against this spring. Okay, there we go. That's okay, so that is sticking there. Let me just make sure though. So if I remove this and it has more pressure on it, okay, it is staying, it's staying on there. So I can just put that back in now. Okay. So that's going to be the issue, is if like you remove that, then you're in trouble. Okay, so all I need to do now, I think, is then just screw the grub screws in. But that does feel now like it's solid. I basically just bent that spoon a bit more. And obviously you need to make sure that the internals are lined up with where that spoon's going to sit, and then put these grub screws in. Well, that's how it feels. So I'm going to go back now to this. Okay, so basically, guys, I just bent this spoon slightly so that it is there. You can see now I've actually got the spoon out, sorry, the pin out, and it's holding. But what I've had to do is basically line this up to make sure that this piece with the magnet sits there. If I then bring this down, that is sat there and that is in that position. So I need to make sure that when I remove this, that stays there. But when I drop it, that pops off. It's going to allow that piece to hit the blank, and then the blank's going to go off. So that, at the moment, looks like that should work. So what I'm going to do is do the next part, which is going to be to position it and make sure that it's working, because that's now good. That's in place. And so I just need to put these grub screws in, I think, and then we're all good to go. So let me just grab this. And we can go with, so what's this for? Ah, this is going to go in the top. So we do need to make sure that goes in. Okay, hold on one second. So what I haven't done is put this top piece in, which I need to do. Okay, I see. Right, so that is now sat in there, which is where that blank's going to go. And then it means that if I want to run the 8mm, I can just do that. I don't know why I would want the 8mm. That doesn't make a huge amount of sense to me. But now I can put that in place. I need to like remove that each time I want to change it. Put this here. That's going to hold in place on that. And then this pin is going to stop it from going off. Okay, so now we've got that there. That is what it's going to look like. So now I just need to make sure that I secure it exactly with these screws in the right place. So let's get a nice one of these. Let's get the grub screws. And then we can do this. I'm not going to do all of them. I'm going to lightly put each one in. Just need to make sure that this is staying aligned. Because it's going to mean this core is the most important piece. Because once it's in there, I can change out the tops as much as I want. And I can change this out if I want to, but just for fast reloads, it's going to be the... It's going to be me unscrewing that top piece and leaving this tube inside the core. It's a very clever idea though. I mean, like I love how they've kind of taken an existing product that everyone has, everyone uses, everyone likes, and then they've gone and done this. So effectively what I was explaining is I can pull the pin, that is going to stay in place, but as soon as I drop this, that's going to basically remove, that thing's going to come down, it's going to hit that 9mm, and we should be good to go. I'm going to thread lock that 9mm plunger in, because that needs to be at a height where it's going to work. So I might do some test throws tomorrow morning. Just worried slightly about the amount of noise I'm going to make, because it really is a 9mm round going off, which the neighbors might not be too happy about, to be honest. Especially I live in the US and I worry, you know, it's not like people are like, oh, what was that sound? You know, maybe it was a, if they think it sounds like a gunshot, they'll probably think it's a gunshot and they'll go explore it. I'm also at a site tomorrow night and they think they're going to allow me to use it because it's indoors. So that now is sat there. Let's check and see if this will. Just moved this, which isn't great. And to get something that's gonna, I've just split that pin, so now it's not going to go in that hole, which is annoying. Okay, there we go. That's going to go. I just need to squeeze it in. But obviously, like, I've done this a bit without looking it up beforehand, and you know, it's probably made the video a bit longer, but I think it hopefully for you guys will show that it's pretty easy to do this. So if I pull this, that went off, and that's not good. We don't want that to happen. So we need to make sure that this isn't going to do that. See, that's going off, and I don't need that knot to be going off, because that is going to be, it goes in my hand. And I think I'm going to have to tighten this slightly, because that was a little bit unaligned there, misaligned. And it was almost like from where I dropped it, it wasn't in holding space. So I'm going to put these grub screws a bit tighter and not strip the screw like I've just tried to do there. And then now if I drop it, it goes off, which is great. If I get it back, that sits there, which is fine. This guy sits here. Bang, bang, bang. That is going to stay. Okay, so that's what I need, is that to fully just sit there and stay. I'm actually going to bend this back slightly. I think I preempted it a little bit by bending it as far as I did, because it's now sitting slightly higher up on the grenade than it was previously. That is solid, so that should be good. So when I remove this, I put a 9mm in there, bang. I then screw it back up. Let's see if this actually, I'll keep the pin in it. But let's see if this screws up. Okay, so that now is primed, which means if I let go of that and that comes off, which it is, then that is not gonna hold it. So I need to play around with this because that's not strong enough. See there? Okay, so I'm gonna actually just take this blank out quickly. There it is. I'm gonna screw this back on. And it's not staying there. Maybe I need to do what I was doing again before. See, it's holding there, but it's not solid enough. I want it like fully no chance of it going off in my hand. Because it should be fine, but I just don't trust it unless it's... So I think it's going to be good, guys. Let's just do one more test. But I think it's going to be good. I'll play around with this a bit more. I'll be doing some shorts of me using it. And then you guys can kind of tell for yourself. But that is holding. You can just see there's like a gap between there. And I just worry if I knock that, or if I'm just being a little bit kind of, you know, not fully paying attention to it as I'm using it, which you're not when you're playing. You know, you're kind of like a lot more... You know, I'm just thinking maybe what I've done is I've just left that rubber piece in there, and I think that could have affected it. Okay, let me do this quickly here. I'm gonna take this out. Can I just pull this directly out? No. I'll take this out. So if I take this out, I can remove, now it's bent this on. I need something that is going to be, so you see what I've done here is I've like compressed it all around, and that means that it's going to be a lot harder to get this like cap off now. I can get some, I just don't want to mess around with it. Okay, I'm going to leave it for now, guys, but what I might end up doing is just taking that out, and I left like a small rubber ring in there, and I'm just thinking, is that keeping it up slightly too high to where it's not fully catching on that piece? And if that is the case, then that's why it's kind of doing that. Can I just bang this out? There we go, okay. So that rubber piece I left in there. So what I think I might do is remove that. Because I didn't take it out because I was like, oh, okay, maybe if they've sent it to me, they would have taken that out if they needed to. Which they hadn't done. me poke this with a pokey. Now, I don't know 100% if I should be taking this out, to be honest, but we'll work it out. Keep saying like, oh, I'll leave it there, and that's what I'm going to do, but I keep continuing this very long video. Okay, so if I drop this in there now, okay, so that sits in there, and then that doesn't have that piece of metal. I don't think it's gone much lower though. So we'll try it without. Let me go with this on here. Firm enough. I'm going to put it into position where, yeah, it is sitting lower. It is. So that's probably why. And I think that's a firmer grip on there. So remove that bottom bit. Unless I like update this video and say, no, I was wrong. I would remove that bottom bit. Just so then you've got it. But from everything I've heard, like the hardiness of this thing is great. It will really like go off every single time you throw it when you set it up correctly. So I'm just quite excited to test it really. And I've just done that again and almost stripped the screw. So I'm going to leave that one alone. Tight, 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 tight. Okay, so that is it, guys. And that is now solid. This is going here. If you live in a location where you don't have to worry about fire, I think these are a no-brainer. I think it's a better way of using it than it is. See, that went off. It's a better way of doing it than doing a Thunder B, where you've got the... See, it's going off. It's not staying. See there? I need it to be making more of a... It's going to go off in my hand. Also, I think like the quality tests of the actual Thunder B cores can be a bit hit or miss. What I'm actually going to do is just bend this out again a little bit. And if you get a bad one, it could kind of change where the spoon is sitting. Right, it's just not holding. All right, guys, I'm going to have to play around with this. I think it's going to be a good product. I think I've made it work. I've now kind of made it not work again. So I'm going to have to kind of just make sure I've got my all my stuff in order. But thank you guys so much for watching. This is going to be a product you're going to see more of on the channel. I hope you're good wherever you are and have a great day. Goodbye.